Have you ever wondered how these other moms are staying so organized? How are they being so productive, especially when they have more kids? Why do they seem like they're so put together and they're not frazzled? Or what is going on? Why can everybody else figure this out and I can't? Let me tell you, that is not unique. You are not the only one. We have all struggled with those thoughts, because guess what? Comparison is the thief of all joy, and no one is immune to it. And we will see other people, and instead of thinking, I don't have what it takes, I'm not enough, how about we look at what they got going on, what they're doing, and learn? And that's what I'm going to do with you here. If you are wanting to become a more organized, stay-at-home, busy mama, I am here to help you with my tips. But first, if you're looking to grow in your knowledge and maybe wanting to simplify and bring joy into your motherhood and home, whether it's cleaning routines, grocery hauls, mom tips and advice, I am your girl. So go ahead and like this video and then subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I release a new video. You don't want to miss it. I'm going on a mission to help mamas, and let's go ahead and get started. First, if you are new around here, hi, my name is Cassidy. Welcome to Mama Belle's Home. I am so glad you are here. I am a homeschooling, homemaking, stay-at-home mama of 7 kiddos. I wasn't always this way though. I used to be a mom of 1 and 2 and 3 kids who was completely frazzled with a husband in the military who was gone often, and so even though I was married, I was basically a single mom. And I have a lot of experience. My oldest is 16, my youngest is 1, and I have all kinds of things going on in the middle. When I tell you I used to be an overwhelmed, frazzled, frantic, angry mom, I am not joking. I became a Christian after my 2nd kid, but that does not mean that I was ready and raring to go and I was just super patient and calm. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was completely out of the realm of what I wanted to be, and I had to ask a lot of questions. I hung out with a lot of moms who had more kids or just more patience, and I am not the type of person who, like, that type A personality where, you know, systems and organization and all of this comes really easy. I actually am an ADHD mama, which means, girl, I am distracted. And so I have had to learn a lot of this, and I know that for myself personally, and probably most of you, we drag our heels into a little bit of this, and that's okay. But let's go ahead and just get started anyways. Okay, so for tip number 1, what you're gonna want to do is establish a routine. And I feel like when I first got started out, this is something that I really dragged my heels into, because I thought that it had to be this like perfect, just this perfect early, very cumbersome type of morning routine. From what I was seeing everybody else doing, it felt like it was so unachievable for me. And I'm gonna be honest, like, it was. I tried to do all of these things all at once, and I completely just, I fell off the wagon. I gave up time and time and time and time again. But here's the thing that I learned. I'm trying to create a routine that works for me and my family, not what is going to work for other people. And just because somebody else has a lot of success with it doesn't mean that you're going to have success with it, and that is okay. So just baby steps. First things first, maybe create some meal routine times, creating activity times, chores, things like that. Just the basic things that you're going to do at a certain time. I actually don't really even call it a routine when it's considered with my kiddos. I actually call it a rhythm, because it's not necessarily a time of day that it has to be done. It's just something comes after another thing, and then that way they know what to expect, what's coming up, and how to move accordingly, right? And so something that I do is I prep actually the night before to help me and my mornings go smoothly. I'm not a morning person, and so that's another reason why I like to wake up before the kiddos, because that way I don't feel so frazzled and like overwhelmed, and like I feel behind. I feel when they are waking me up, I'm already behind schedule, and I'm not going to get to the things that I want to do, the things that really fill me up. And so that's why I prep the night before. I do my morning routine, but that doesn't mean it has to work for you. Just creating a rhythm. So with my kiddos, they wake up, I make them breakfast, they wake up, they get ready for the day, which is getting dressed, brushing teeth, brushing hair, making their bed, and then we do some morning chores, cleaning up, and we do our Bible time. They do their vitamins alongside of their Bible time, and then they will go play outside, have a snack, and before we get into like the homeschool stuff of it, right? And this is usually about 10 to 11 is when they're about going outside, right? So for like the first 2.5-ish hours, maybe 3 hours, that's what our rhythm is. It's not necessarily like we have to have breakfast at 8 o'clock and then we're gonna do this and then you do Bible time by 9. Like it's not that. It's just a rhythm. It's just creating a routine, not necessarily a schedule, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But again, do what works for you. Figure out your goals, what you want to implement, what you want to include in that, and what that's going to look like for you, and then write it down so that way you know it and then you can teach the kids. Tip number 2 is going to be prioritizing tasks. So one of the ways that I do this is I create a list in a good old notebook. Like here's my notebook right here. This is just one of them. But what I do is I look over the night before what my day is going to consist of, what I need to get done, whose laundry's day it is, the chores that I need to get done, any kind of like YouTube stuff that I need to do, any outside appointments or activities that we're going, people we're hanging out with, any of those kind of things. And then I go ahead and write it down in my notebook, because that way I know what is the priority, what needs to get done, and what's most important. Because here's the thing, like my priority list is always kids. My husband and kids are my absolute top priority, and you need to figure out what your stuff is and like how you're going to implement that. But my husband and I decided like kids are the first and foremost. With 7 kids, it's a lot of work, not to mention I homeschool and I stay at home, so there are a lot of things. And I have littles, like I still have little guys in so there's a lot that needs to be done as far as like snacks and naps and diapers and all of those things, and then everything else is fit in there. Now my other kids, my older kids, do help me with a lot of the tasks that need to be done during the day, but my kids are my priority, and then my home, and then everything else like friends, extracurriculars, YouTube, all of that kind of stuff, that all comes after my kids and my home. And so you need to figure out what your priorities are, creating a list, having it on a whiteboard or a calendar, a planner, something to remind yourself what needs to get done, what's the most important thing for the day, and then everything else. And then whatever you don't get done, you just roll it over to the next day. It's not a big deal. And just take care of what needs to be done. Obviously, if you have an appointment or a meeting or something like that, that has to be up there on the list. But what's important to you? What are your goals in the day? What would you like to get done? And then create a priority list that will help you stay on task and keep you accountable for what needs to get done. And then, like I said, as an ADHD mom, just seeing it and it being there, that I'm like going back to like multiple times a day, really helps me remind myself what needs to get done, and having a time limit, knowing, okay, hey, this needs to get done because I have all of these other things that need to get done also, right? So I'm not getting distracted. Okay, and then the third thing that you're going to want to do is create some kind of command center, like a family command center. One of the things that I do is I have a giant calendar in my dining room where I keep everything that our whole family is doing. But my command center is honestly just my planner. I have a planner that I keep all of our information, and then on my phone I try to keep it limited, but it's the easiest for my husband. Is we have a shared calendar, so all of his stuff that he needs me to know, whether it's appointments that he has, work stuff, meetings, different tasks that he has to get done around here, or he helps coach the rugby team, so once that starts, all of that is in there, so that when I am scheduling our day or going over or whatever needs to be done for the week, I can see that and know how to prioritize it. However, like I said, I do have my big calendar, so that helps keep all the kids in the know-how, my husband and I on the same page as well. The planner is just more for me. That's where I literally keep everything. I keep meal plans, cleaning schedules, laundry schedules. I keep what we have going on. I keep my homeschool plans. Like all of that is in my calendar or my planner, because that just helps me, again, stay organized and on top of things, and I know what needs to be done, what is going on, and it just helps me stay organized. Because let me tell you, with 7 kids and homeschool and home and all of the things that can busy my day, my planner is my best friend. And I actually used to like hate planners. I don't know how many planners that I bought in the first probably 10 years of my parenting life, and went to waste. Maybe filled out a couple weeks or a couple days here and there, maybe a month use out of it, but it was literally wasted. Yeah, I've wasted a planner a time too, but now it is literally my absolute best friend. It helps me stay organized. I really like a undated basic calendar, because then I can morph it to what I need, because like I said, I do have ADHD, so that is kind of like a hurdle I have to get over. And then having like 7 kids and homeschool, like there's a lot in my life that is it's not cookie cutter, it's not a traditional type of life, and so it can complicate things, and I don't feel like most planners have me in mind, which is totally fine. They don't need to like fit the majority, but I do like a very open concept, kind of blank type of calendar that I can create. If you're wondering, happy planners are my absolute favorite so far, but you know, I'm open. Like I said, I love a good planner, so I'm constantly checking them out. Happy Planner just seems to be the one that I like right now, but there are a few that I have my eyes on that I wouldn't mind trying one day. Either way, you just need to create a command center that can house your meal plans, your cleaning schedules, and what you have going on. It could be something that's hanging up on the wall. It can be just like a notebook or a binder. That's how I honestly, like, that was what was working for me in the beginning, is I had like a home management binder that kind of had all of that together. You can post it on your fridge. You can have it in your planner like I do. There's a ton of things you can do. Do not feel like you have to have it like Pinterest worthy, where it's this beautiful aesthetic, like perfect wall situation, or like this whole shelf or this home office thing. Like, it doesn't have to be that. Use what you have, like what is manageable. Again, you're gonna want to do things that are like that you're capable of doing and that you're going to want to use. You don't want to be like I did, wasting a bunch of planners because I was just not there yet. A notebook was all I needed. You want to take baby steps. It takes weeks. It takes 21 days technically to create a habit. And you know, with kids and busyness and ADHD and anything else that you might be throwing in there, you know, depression, anxiety, that kind of stuff, it's going to take a little bit longer, and you're going to have those ups and downs and those hurdles. And so do what is manageable for you. Take the baby steps into doing it. Maybe just implement 1 or 2 things each week and then grow from there. That way it's achievable and capable for you, because this is what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to create it for you and your family, your goals, your abilities. Don't just do what I do because you think that's going to be the answer for you. Do what you think is knowledgeable. Obviously, if you don't know what you're doing, and you're just trying to learn, then, you know, take a leap of faith and try it, because you're not going to know if you don't try. But, you know, don't feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing, is basically what I'm trying to get at. Do what you feel is achievable for you. So the 4th tip is going to be decluttering regularly. It doesn't have to be every single day, but maybe once a week you set time aside to go through certain rooms. One of the things that I do actually in my cleaning schedule is I work on one room every day, so that way I can actually give like a good amount of attention to each room, and that way I'll go through like any decluttering I need to, removing things that don't belong in that room, throwing it away, donating it, whatever it turns out to be. But it really helps me stay on top of things, and then that way you're not overwhelmed with, you know, extra clutter or messes or whatever it may be. So just creating some time and space in your routine, your schedule, to declutter on a regular basis, help you stay more organized, which is the goal. If you enjoyed these tips and they were helpful to you, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps me out in the algorithm and helps other mamas see this video who may need it. If there is something that you would add to the list that helps you be a more organized stay-at-home mama, please let me know down in the comments. Not only do I want other moms to see it, but I am always trying to learn and be better as a stay-at-home mama, and I am down to learn new things because I'm trying to be as efficient and as productive as possible with 7 kiddos. I need all the help I can get sometimes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!